this is going to be good. This is the Canon EF 500mm f4L IS USM. It was first released in 1999 and wasn't replaced until 2011. Its MSRP, when it was first released, was about £9,500, but can now be picked up for about £2,500. It weighs 3.19 kilos, and the main element is 120mm in diameter. This lens is objectively an absolute beast, but how well will it fare astrophotography? Let's find out. All right, I figured I should probably give you a little bit of background on this. So that Canon 500mm has been lent to me by a good friend. He bought it many moons ago, used, but he used it for the last ever shuttle launch, which is pretty damn cool. If I can get the picture, actually, I'll put it up here because it's a pretty awesome picture. He hasn't used it for years, and he basically wanted to see what I could do with it in terms of, you know, taking pictures of the sky. So I'm curious to see what it will do. I've had a bit of fun just taking pictures of ducks and stuff, but wildlife isn't really my jam. And you know, that lens would predominantly be used for wildlife and sports. But I can tell you, you know, optically it performs brilliantly for day-to-day stuff. When it was new, I believe it was about £9,000. You can pick them up used now for under £3,000, but it's still quite a hefty price tag to pay. I am by no means saying that this would be a cost-effective option for doing astrophotography. You can get like probably quadruplet apochromatic refractors for that kind of price. That would perform insanely well. But it's just a bit of fun. I haven't seen any or many pictures online of people taking photos with these lenses, and I thought it would be pretty cool to see what it can do. It looks like it's going to be clear tonight from about 7 o'clock. This is November the 1st, and we just had like some pretty bad storms. It's still a bit windy outside. I'll probably check it later on to see whether it's worth even trying or not. But yeah, for the time being, I'm probably just going to set up the 500mm on the HEQ5, make sure I can get the guide scope on it okay and things like that. And then we'll catch up later when it's a bit darker and the telescope is out. Also, there's a load of glass in this thing. It is heavy. I don't actually know how much it compares to the telescope. I think they're quite comparable, which is saying something. It's so compact. But yeah, the point in that is the glass is going to take quite a long time to acclimatise. So I'll probably get the stuff out fairly early, give it a few hours, and then do the proper setup and alignment and all of that. So, see you in a bit. Alright, baby's asleep. I actually started imaging quite early today. One sec, let's turn these lights on. It's been imaging for a while. I've been looking at some of the subs, and they do look a bit funny. My guiding is just not as good as it usually is. It's really annoying. There's quite significant spikes. That's an exception because obviously it's dithering, but still, you know, along here, this is actually doing a lot better than it was earlier. And yeah, I'm gonna have to have another look at these subs. Yeah, it's still fluctuating a bit more than I would like. And yeah, as you can see, the total error is about 1.2-ish. Yeah, also I don't have a batten off mask, so I think I'm going to stop it anyway, and then just make sure I'll just do a refocus. It actually looks pretty good, considering it's all done by eye, but yeah, I just want to be sure, you know, I want to give it the best chance. Hello, it is the next day. I ended up getting about 76 exposures or subframes in the end. I went through them quickly, culled the ones that were obviously, you know, obviously had movement in them and things like that. Yeah, I went through and did my standard, you know, stacking process with Cyril and all of that good stuff. I think last time I left you, I said that I might try tweaking the focus a bit more. I actually went back and looked at the images, and I don't think they were focus issues. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly show you what I found. Right, so this is what I found. I am going to, before I start any of this, I'm going to give the lens the benefit of the doubt and assume that I wasn't perfectly in focus. So once I've done all this, I'm going to probably print off a batten off mask, and I'm going to try again tonight with, you know, as close to perfect focus as possible. But this is what I found on individual subframes. Let's start there. As you can see, all of the bigger stars seem to have this you know, streak going through them. It's like a single starburst almost. And yeah, it seems to be the brighter ones. Also, if I'm being really picky, each of these was a 3-minute exposure. The stars aren't round. If you can see that they're kind of like, well, they're ovally almost. However, once it's all stacked, it becomes a bit more pronounced, as you could probably imagine. Other than that, you can see faint nebulosity here. You know, a nice massive bit of dust on my sensor. But anyway, there's actually yeah, another little bit here. But that's what our flat frames are for. I do need to clean that sensor though. This is way better than it used to be. So yeah, this is the thing that I spotted last night. At first I thought it might have been a guiding issue, but it wasn't, not at all. I've seen this on my Sigma a couple of times. I can't actually remember what the issue was. So I'm hoping it's focus. But yeah, so that's an individual frame. If I click through these as well, you'll see a lot of them have it. Not all of them though, which is interesting. But again, if you look at this, I think this is coma. You can see there's, you know, a bit of a triangular shape to these stars on the edge of the frame. Also, if you go into the corners, the angle changes a little bit towards the center, which is why I think it's coma. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's you know, an aberration of some sort. You know, zoomed out, it doesn't look too bad, but I do think these stars look a little bit big, and I wonder if it was just my poor focusing. I did do it in a bit of a rush. Cool, so just an update. The batten off mask is 3D printed. It wasn't quite the right size, so I just added some foam on top and bottom. Should get me through it. And now we'll do this. I can't see actually what I'm doing. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. So that should do nicely. If I'm still getting dodgy stars after I've done this, then I think it's fair to say it is the lens that is at fault. So it looks like we're gonna have a really clear night. So I'm gonna sort it out. One thing I did notice though, last night when I took it in was the the guide scope, because the guide scope is only connected using one screw, which I know is rubbish, but I didn't want to tear down my existing setup too much, so I've just got to do what I can. I'll try tightening it up a little bit, but yeah, I noticed it moved, and I think that's why my guiding went a little bit skew-if after about an hour or so. So yeah, I'll tighten it up, and I'll just keep an eye on it, make sure there isn't too much tension on that, or any tension on the lead that's going to it. But yeah, exciting times, exciting times. So it's been a few days. That first night didn't go to plan. As I believe I already mentioned, I thought the stars were slightly out of focus, and they were. So I didn't change it on the night. To be honest, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get a better focus by eye. And again, I think I mentioned I didn't have a Basanoff mask. So what I did the next day, after doing a quick edit, was print a new Basanoff mask that was, you know, the correct size, and then went out again the second night and did another lot of images. I actually only got about half the data on the second night as compared to the first night, which is a little bit frustrating. But I think the result's actually quite good. The only thing I would say is I accidentally knocked the aperture to f5 instead of f4, which is annoying. I wanted to test it wide open. Weather hasn't been on my side last night or the night before that, so I'm going to probably edit this video. Depending on how long it takes to actually get the video out, I may or may not include the final image at f4, because I am planning on trying it again one last time at f4. I have actually got the camera in the same orientation this time too. So between night 1 and night 2, I moved the rotation of the lens slightly, which means that it was quite difficult. I couldn't really stack the two nights together because the flat frames and stuff were all totally different. So yeah, the image that I got on the second night, I'm happy with. It is a bit noisy though, and there has been a lot of noise reduction involved. Also, I'm not a fan of the star spikes, but what you will find is the stars are quite uniform and well managed edge to edge, which has surprised me. When you consider, I know the lens was an insanely expensive lens, it's still very expensive, but you know, when you consider that its design is over 20 years old now, I think it performed incredibly well. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the image. Yeah, if you enjoy the video, consider subscribing, share it, like it, comment, you know, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.